right now, we'll introduce Rhett. Rhett Thompson is with Kent Water Sports, another one of our good customers. And so, Rhett, it's all yours.
Great, thanks, Marshall. I'm Rhett Thompson. I'm the Corporate Director of IT at Kent Sporting Goods, and I'm primarily schooled as a software developer. I moved to MRP way back when, and have been involved mainly in manufacturing and distribution for some time. I think they wanted to keep me in sales after they had a look at my code and decided better move in sales. Nonetheless, a little bit of information about Kent Water Sports and who we are. I would call us a premier provider of outdoor sporting equipment. And until very recently, we were a privately held smaller company comprised of many other smaller companies. One thing that's unusual about our organization is that these companies or business units compete with each other. They're actually selling the same product. So that provides us with some management challenges and introduces complexity into our company. In summary, we 7 legal entities, we have 7 balance sheets, and currently we have 10 P&Ls, but we're growing by acquisition, so you never know what's going to be happening there. We are a multi-channel company in that we sell to big box stores, we sell to mom and pop stores, and we also sell to consumers as well. So there's some complexity, some additional complexity there. And there are multiple brands in our organization. Currently, we're sitting at 20, and if you've been to Costco, you've probably seen our products sitting in the water sports aisle, life jackets, stand-up paddle boards. Some numbers, we are 160 users in the organization. We got about 50,000 SKUs, 10,000 customers, and about 34,000 warehouse locations. One thing that's amazing about a company is there's absolutely no use of Excel at all across the organization. So that's quite an outlier there. We used a number of ISV solutions and currently use Microsoft e-commerce. We use Sonata. We used an application called Extension for kitting, Vantage Point for EDI, and Logistics for TMS. We are very strong users of Power BI, exceptional usage across our organizations, corporate sales reps, executives, great success story there. And we had multiple customizations, including credit control, mobile warehouse devices, shipping and packing functionality. By the way, I was just kidding about the Excel. Of course, we're strong users of Excel across all organizations. So I think if you can go back in time and we say, why D365? I mean, that is a question that's still asked by some of our users. And our system, our AX system was performing well. We had absolute acceptance of ERP as the sole source of truth in our organization. Our users were very familiar and they trusted the system, and we were self-reliant. So why? Well, basically, that quote is right up there. The system, as I envisaged it, we have not seen it yet. The future is so much bigger than the past. And that's the way that our executives looked at it, that there was much more coming down the pike with D365. We're aware of this disruption that Marshall was talking about earlier on, the cliched Amazon effect, and we were actually being impacted by it. Our existing model was mostly a standard business model through partners, but we needed something to help us handle this transformation, and the omni-channel became very important to us. We still wanted to maintain good relationships with our traditional customers, but we wanted to attract new customers. We wanted to increase the participation in water sports. That is our goal, really, to increase that participation. And most important of all, we wanted to get in charge of our data. So D365 was a natural choice for us. It laid the foundation for all the future roadmaps that we're going to develop in. It was a simplified progression from AX 2012, and the first talk to a combined source of truth. It improved our relationships with our customers. Generally, it opened up new demographics, and it allowed us to actually be in a proactive mode rather than a reactive mode. From an IT director point of view, it was an evergreen system, and that was key for us. We can go to the next slide. So on partner selection, we had good relationships with a number of partners, primary relationship with a large provider from the Midwest. They provided some of the infrastructure and expertise that we were using, but we started thinking about D365 after our first summit conference. We had received a lot of conflicting data about the ability to convert. Some people were saying, you cannot go from R2, you've got to go from R2 to R3 to then to D365. And some were saying it's a one-step process. Others said it was actually foolish. Some of our partners actually said it was foolish to convert all our data. Well, that's not where I come from. And I was fortunate enough to actually be introduced to Satish and Sonata through a missed webinar that I didn't attend. And he phoned me and we started talking about it. And over time, I met some of the key architects and senior executives at Sonata. We were exposed to great tools that could help our pilgrimage and our movement to D365, some great dinners, of course. And Sonata were able to access our environment with the LCS tools. And this helped them to provide a very close estimate to how long it would take and how much complexity was involved in the actual conversion, actually looking at each of the individual objects. So the decision was really based on completeness of conversion. I mean, we had reviewed 3 proposals from different companies. And yeah, I'll echo what Ryan said, and I'll really punt for Sonata because they did a fantastic job in converting us. They were serious about converting all the customizations. They didn't want to leave anything behind. They had close relationship with Microsoft, and they went to bat for us and saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars by getting us structured properly at Microsoft. They know the Microsoft infrastructure, and they had a detailed, all-encompassing budget that we could monitor against. So it was a fantastic approach. And ultimately, all data was DB converted, no exceptions, able to print invoices, able to run comparative financial statements from the very start. Initially, I was cautious about the offshore route, but that proved to be totally unfounded. If you can move to the next slide. So there were 8 months that we had planned. Goal of no record left behind, much like the Green Berets. Sonata started with a business blueprint, and the first part of the process was to convert our X2012 to D365, and they converted everything. And this allowed us to do a collaborative comparison with our own data, which I think is very important for users to see their own data. So the initial sessions, we went over the processes, followed by Sonata. So we went through our processes, followed by Sonata showing us those processes in D365. Very few customizations that were not needed. Actually, this was contrary to what they expected, but I think one customization we got rid of was our margin customization, that we used the standard Microsoft one. So then we identified gaps like FTP, label printing, sound was a critical issue, part of ours, and shipping in a non-WMS environment was another key thing. So Sonata then went and they converted all the overlays to extensions with using their tools, fantastic experience, and then they took those overlays and we tested them. So Sonata tested first, then the IT team, and then our users were testing. So we addressed most of the issues up front, and we went live, we had very few issues. The UATs were performed on converted data and customizations that allowed the users to identify issues, and then we performed a second UAT on the revised code, and then we went live. So that was our general plan. So if we have a look at the next slide, we'll see ultimately that we came in under budget. I mean, this is unheard of in our company, and it was fantastic. There was quick adoption of the new environment. The functions will work similarly to the AX2012 environments that we are used to. The SOPs were translated by Sonata for us. We needed some additional training to take advantage of the new UI, but we were able to immediately take advantage of the new release. Early after we went live, Microsoft released new code for credit management. That was a customization that we had, and we were able to get rid of our customization with this really comprehensive credit management feature that Microsoft had. So, and we are continuing to see these new developments coming out from Microsoft, and we are on the Microsoft cadence. We haven't had any problems with the promotion of code. Our entire FTP process is more robust. Batch jobs are executing faster. Our source code control is way superior to what it was before. And Power BI, I mean, we actually took the preview model, unlike Ryan did, and we've had great success with the data lake, getting that implemented. So what are my recommendations that you'll see on the next slide? I think we had a very successful conversion. In most aspects, I think our internal development on the integration aspect was lacking. But I think it's critical to get a good partner, and we were lucky. You know, I volunteered to share my experience and to punt for Sonata because of our experience with Sonata. But they're only as good as their consultants that they have. And our consultants, our Sonata consultants, took 100% ownership. Working, we came in under budget. Their demeanor was fantastic. Their work ethic was great, and they just gelled with our users. It was a great success. I really recommend that if you could do this convert, do your UATs with your own data. Otherwise, you're not going to know. The users can immediately recognize problems and are familiar with the issues, and they can identify issues straight away. It helps you make few assumptions. Spend a lot of time up front plan for Azure, budget for Azure. It gets very expensive, especially if you've got your own pay-as-you-go environments. Start early with the integration. That was our mistake, that we didn't do that. And make sure that communication and management is supporting your project. Let everyone know what's going on, involve users early, and get complete support. I mean, our CFO actually attended all the meetings. So thank you, and I'll wait questions in the next section.